Welcome in. I am the Crypto Bull God, and this is all in the charts. If you appreciate the content, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, drop me a comment. You need to click that bell icon for all notifications to know when I go live each and every single weekday. Guys, I hope you had a great weekend. I haven't connected with you since Thursday. Not a lot has changed within the charts, but we are going to cover kind of what's going on within the market. Just a couple thoughts I wanted to share with you. First, one of the things I was thinking about coming into this live stream is that the time that I had taken away from doing the live stream, some of the change that's going on in my life that I shared with you about getting a new job, getting out of a very stressful situation, which I feel so much better. It has also allowed me to take a step back and ask the question if perhaps I wanted to live stream at a different time for at least some of the days. And so I know when I had live streamed the one day in particular, midday, I got some appreciation for that because I was available when I'm typically not available for people, all across the world that tune in, which is awesome. So one of the things that I'm still giving thought to, I'm still giving some ample thought to, is the times that I want to live stream. So I don't see on an ongoing basis days where I'm not live streaming in the evening like I'm doing around 5:30 Eastern Standard Time typically. Of course, I have some time off now, transitioning between jobs, so have a little bit of a freer schedule. Thumbs up, by the way. Seeing people tuning in and not engaging, which doesn't help the algorithm. But once I kind of get back on my routine and I'm at work every day, I've given just different thoughts to different times that I could live stream. So, I kind of my thought there is there needs to be consistency with the times that I live stream. It's one of the reasons I like live streaming right at the end of a workday. I know I can get to it right at the end of a workday. It's consistent. You can count on me, those that can join me. It's consistent around between 5 to 5:30. Like, I don't sway from those times too much, right? But, one idea I had, maybe on, Mondays and Thursdays or Mondays and Tuesdays, maybe I live stream at 5:30 a.m., and then maybe, your Wednesdays and Thursdays I live stream at 5:30 p.m. So just trying to connect with different audiences, especially for not so much for the Monday, Wednesday, Friday, because those are days where I come out here, I do some market analysis, I share that with you guys. I don't generally take questions. But in particular on Tuesdays and Thursdays, the benefit to doing a live TA Q&A with you guys on Tuesdays and Thursdays is that it allows me to interact with you. I mean, that's really the value. I think at some point YouTube, I've spoken to this pretty frequently, I think at some point YouTube will be even more connected in ways that I can click on track here and I give him the microphone if he so chooses, right? And he can kind of speak, or maybe he can share his screen and kind of share what he's evaluating in the charts and ask me questions that would create more of a interactive environment, right? Which I think would be awesome. And I think eventually, it's just a matter of time until YouTube probably moves towards that. But I love the interaction that I am able to get on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And so the idea of being able to open that up to a different time zone, because, it's great that I have people tuning in from all across the world, literally. I'm going to give some continued thought to that. And then the other thing that I wanted to share, and this specifically relates to the market, I know right now it's very boring. It is. It's, especially as a content creator, as an educator, it's challenging. It's very challenging to come out here, and I've said this in the past. Remember this time period, right? I think if you guys were with me back here, okay, back in this time period here, I remember it very well, okay, and this was right before my surgery too, in October. it was so boring. And I remember coming out to you guys and saying, guys, I know it's boring right now. And so I'll say the same thing to you today that I said to you back then, if you were subscribed to the channel. I understand, while I understand if the market movements are somewhat not confusing you, they shouldn't be confusing you. But if it's leaving you feeling like, man, based on what CBG is sharing, based on what I think, and based on some other TA people who I value, this market really in the shorter term could go up or down. It's really kind of tricky. It's a tricky environment right now. We're just chipping and chopping. That's fine. But the thing you can't do is lose complete interest in the market, because one of the things that I have very routinely come out here and spoken to is the fact that if we go back in time and we evaluate the price movements within this market, we do find that the largest moves generally take place during after a sustained period of low volatility, right? Just as the market becomes disinterested and the volatility index is very low, that's when we see those big turn ups or big turn downs. The other thing to kind of piggyback off of that, if you've been here for a few cycles, you would know this, but your portfolio, you'll see it in your portfolio, your portfolio will grow the largest in the shortest amount of time. Meaning, let's say you have $100,000 invested in crypto, right? So if you have $100,000 invested in crypto, there's a very long period of time under which you'll see it dip down to 80,000, 70,000, back up to 120, 130, 150. Maybe it doubles and gets to 200, drops back down to 150. It's kind of fluctuating within still a volatile range, but a narrow range, albeit where it ends up. And then you'll all of a sudden see it take off from 150,000 to 500,000 in a matter of 4 weeks. Okay, the market moves very quickly, and that's why no matter how boring it is right now, and it's pretty fucking boring right now. It's very important that you still keep an eye on the key things that I've spoken to on this live stream. All right, and maybe there are some other views out there of technicians that you respect. Maybe Tony the Bull BTC is telling you to keep an eye on a 2-month Bollinger Band. Keep an eye on it. I know Tech Dev has a lot of creative views. I know, Credible Crypto is an awesome Elliott Wave technician, so he has certain counts. He's a lot more into the intricacies of Elliott Waves than I am. So maybe there are some other key views to be mindful of. But I really, on this channel, I really try to simplify things in a way that balances having a firm grasp of the key things to keep in mind within the market and doesn't overcomplicate the process, and you're not missing out on anything major, right? We've got all the major things you need to be keeping an eye on. So with that being said, guys, let's get into it. Let's see, we have the live stream here. As I said, Todd, man, wish I could shake your hand. I genuinely appreciate the consistent support. Raghorn, congrats on the new job. Thank you so much. Track, what's going on, brother? And Juan, let's fucking go. That's Oof's line. That's Oof's line. Where the fuck is Oof at? Where the fuck you at, Oof? Calling you out, boy. Calling you out. All right. Let's get into the charts. So, this is something we're at a very interesting point within the chart. Now, if you've been here, we could look at this on a daily, we can look at this on a 12-hour, maybe we'll quick take a look at the daily. But now, actually, just to take a step back, since we have last been on this live stream on Thursday, we've had a weekly close, right? And we're already approaching halfway through May. So, let me see, how many days? There's 31 days in May, right? Yes. So I think maybe by midweek, maybe we'll look at that. I think on either Wednesday or Friday, if I live stream Friday, either Wednesday or Friday, or maybe I do a Sunday close on the 19th, right around that time period, we'll take a look at the monthly view on May just to see how it's shaping up within a half a month. Now, a lot can happen in a couple weeks within crypto, but I at least want to look at it with you. But I do want to take a look at the weekly, and I don't think a 2-week candlestick printed. I think that's next week, but I do want to double check that. But we'll take a look at the weekly close. But just to revisit what we've spoken to, I'm not going to regurgitate the same information that I've stated before. There's a lot of historical significance within the 12-hour chart. If you followed me here for a while on Bitcoin, again, we don't, all things considered, have a ton of price data on Bitcoin. So being able to cut a day in half really increases our sample size, right? So even though it's a lower time frame, there's more volatility, we have a larger sample set to work with. So there is a high degree of volatility on this chart, but there's a lot of key things that we can determine based on just these two moving averages and how the candlesticks are interacting with these two moving averages. Purple is 50, pink is the 200, right? Now what I said is, when we were down here, we wanted to see a pretty quick recovery, right? We could consolidate in this area for a bit, but I didn't want to see us dip well below the 200 simple moving average and create lower lows and lower highs. That would be indicative of something where over the shorter to mid-term, we could expect to stay under the 200, well under the 200 for an extended period of time. Now you can see we came right back up and I said, hey guys, the strongest thing we could see is we backtest this black prior descending line of resistance. It holds a support and we bounce up. The other thing I could see based on the time at which we hit that point is we could likely come back and backtest the 200 simple moving average, and if we're bullish, we'll treat it as support. Now you can see since then, we have come back, we've backtested this line, been a little under the line, we went a little bit under the 200 simple moving average, which isn't concerning. Again, the thing you want to be concerned about with this 200 simple moving average is not necessarily seeing a candle body close under here. It's getting a candle body close under here, coming up, getting rejected, and then creating the lower lows and lower highs. This would cause these moving averages to roll over. We would get a death cross on the 12-hour. It would not be a good situation, okay? We'd be under here for just an extended period of time, all right? But as you can see, we just had a little small deviation, no concern. We've since popped up above it, but do you see what's going on with price right now? And again, this is something that I hit on last week. Not only is this a major area of price confluence between 63.8 and 68, I want us to get back up in that area, and I still anticipate we're going to get up back up in that area sooner rather than later. Look what's going on with the purple moving average. You see how since we've gotten under it, I mean, look at this thing. Since we closed under it here, we've come up to it multiple times, and we just can't successfully clear it. I mean, here you can see, you might say to me, well, we cleared it technically here with this candlestick, but the confirming candlestick here did not confirm. It confirmed a further downtrend, not holding the line of support. So this 50 moving average is giving us a little bit of a problem here. And the interesting thing, why I said we're at a very interesting point right now in the charts, again, just shorter midterm. Now, I'm not talking about anything high time frame like on a 2-week or a monthly chart. That's not what I'm talking about, or even a weekly chart. But the interesting thing is, look what's going on. Price is sort of, not only are we chipping and chopping, it's sort of coiling up, right? It's sort of coiling up right in between these two moving averages. We're sort of reaching a break point here where there's a couple different scenarios that could occur. We could, of course, get rejected, come back down here. Excuse me, I don't know what the hell that was. It causes the 50 to come down to the 200, right? The purple to come down to the 200 and sort of kiss it. It looks like it wants to do a death cross, and we linger here. Price kind of chips and chops in the 61.8, and then we sort of decisively break up, and we're good to go. We could do the same thing and then break down. Or we could just, we could see a big green candle come in tomorrow, a big fat red candle. I mean, and that's not a cop-out. It's the fact that, I think, and this is why people get so irritated, I think, that don't understand TA, is that I can't come out here and tell you what's going to happen. All I can do is read the data, interpret it for you, and tell you what's most and least likely. Now, if we take this a step further and not just look at the candlesticks, let's look at the price action. What can we see here? Well, on the price indicators, excuse me, I think that's what I said. Stochastic RSI looks healthy, looks very good to see. I'm looking at this MACD right now, right? And the MACD, again, what's the MACD doing on the 12-hour? It's chipping and chopping. If we can get a decisive break above zero, that's not the tell-all, it's not the be-all tell-all, but it's certainly a strong sign when we've seen that in the past that we could see some sort of a strong movement up. If we take a look at the RSI, we're sitting at 53, we're relatively neutral. So again, prices, what do I think we're going to do in the shorter term? Again, I honestly feel 50-50. That is how I feel, whether or not we're just going to get one more rollover and consolidation down here for like another week before we eventually push up, or if we're going to retain the 61.8 maybe for like another day or two and then continue pushing up. Those are the two scenarios that I see as being most likely. Of course, I just laid out 4 scenarios for you, so we'll just have to continue to monitor the market and see how things are going. Alex, welcome in. Good to see you. Let's take a look at the weekly. As I had shared with you, we just got a weekly close, okay? On the Bitcoin weekly chart, it was this red candlestick right here. Now, remember, it's not, there isn't, just keep this in mind. There isn't anything I speak to. Thumbs up. Appreciate the support for the channel. It helps a lot. I am governed literally by the overlords of YouTube. And if I don't get enough interaction on the likes, no one will see the live stream. So I would appreciate the support. Don't be that person that's snickering right now or smiling or rolling their eyes and will not hit the thumbs up button. You have no idea as a content creator how imperative it is to get engagement. Please, for the love of God, show a little support. Okay, so one of the things that's very critical to keep in mind, and something that I routinely speak to, is there's nothing that I'm ever speaking to that is certainty. Okay, so just keep that in mind. I hate to sound like a broken record here, but unfortunately, there's always a few bad apples in the mix. Someone who doesn't listen to what I'm saying but chooses to hear something and then says that I stated something that I never said, okay? So I'm not telling you that this candlestick 2 weeks ago is telling us we're indefinitely going up, but what this green hammer candlestick is telling you that printed the week of the 29th of April going into May is that more than likely, here's what it's telling you. More than likely, this is the bottom right here in the shorter to midterm. This is the bottom, this wick, okay? This is what it's telling you. So even if price comes down to around this area at 56, we shouldn't deviate significantly from that area. Now, there's always a possibility we could get some sort of a fake out wick, which I think is entirely possible, and we come down maybe to, to 54 or 53 or something like that and quickly recover. But the point is, what this green hammer candlestick is telling you is that if we go with the higher probability scenario, looking at the weekly chart, while we could see I don't want to call it a capitulatory wick, but some sort of a volatility wick that breaks the bottom of this wick here on this candlestick, we shouldn't start to see this. Okay, we shouldn't start to see candle body closes and then hanging out down here. We could get one quick wick and a recovery. Or the other thing it's signaling is the bottom's already in and we're not going any lower. We're going to continue to create higher lows on this chart for the most part, and we're going to continue churning higher. In fact, I think one of the things you could do if you were looking to set up some buy order limits, you could set it anywhere near this 20 simple moving average of 57.8, 57.7. But let's take a look beyond how that printed. Let's take a look at some of these price indicators we wanted to keep an eye on. So one of the things we were keeping an eye on was the MACD. Okay, you can see right now, I don't like to see this. The histogram has not started to fade here. We need this thing to start to get to lighter red, these histograms. And we need, I don't like the trajectory of this MACD on the weekly. You see how it's a sharp decline down? This thing needs to gradually, what am I trying to say? It needs to, wow. When you go live and completely lose your train of thought in terms of the words that you wanted to say. what we want to see is we want to see this sharp decline stop declining and begin to flatten out, recover, and then turn back up. I don't know what I was trying to say, but that's essentially what we want to see on the MACD. Okay, so MACD is not looking the healthiest on the weekly. I don't like it. On the RSI, we're sitting at 64. So we're still above 63, which I have as a key area, which is great to see. Man, never burn your feet on the sand. Whew. Dear Lord, I got baby feet. I might have man hands and like the grip of death, but my feet need some work. I like to see us maintaining a level above 63, but ultimately where we want to get above on the RSI, like I said, is 70. Okay, historically when we're above 70, we see the largest moves. So we still need price to continue recovering to the upside to get us above 70. And then, if we look at the stochastic RSI, it's starting to look promising because right now they're making out, right? I spoke about the stochastic RSI. What we wanted to see on it was it getting more action than CBG, right? We needed these lines to start kissing, right? Right now they're almost kissing. It's starting to turn up, right? So if we can get a relatively bullish close this week, this should cause the stochastic RSI to turn up and start turning up more towards closer to 10, depending how bullish the week is. Now, obviously, if we get a bearish week, it's just going to be bad for the MACD, the RSI all around, the stochastic RSI. So we'll have to keep it going. Remember, the only reason that I said that this month for me is setting up to be a very critical month is because I guess there's two reasons. One, we had a bearish engulfing candle on the monthly I spoke to, right? Never good to see. Two, based on timing, just timing, right? So if May sort of comes in as an indecision month versus if it comes in as a bearish month versus if it comes in as a very bullish month, these will have implications on the timing of a blow off top within the market, right? Yes, Todd, what I was looking for is level off. I could not think. Okay, what else can we take a look at here? So I think something else that we could take a look at is the total market cap. Did want to assess altcoin strength as well. Okay, nothing new to report here. I mean, good to see that we're still above this green line here at 2.2 trillion. Yeah, I don't really have anything to say there. One thing I do as we're kind of getting into some of the altcoin strength that we're seeing or weakness, whatever we're going to see here in the market. One of the other things that I wanted to share with you guys that I do want to take a look at this week, and maybe that's something else we can take a look at on Wednesday. I want to kind of revisit the indicators. Remember, I came up with 6 indicators that I'm using to assess when the blow-off top is in. So, and something else I was thinking about is I think moving forward, one of the things I'm going to make sure to do is I'm going to spend more time. I'm going to start to defocus more and more the timing of when I think things are going to get super overheated and Bitcoin's going to have its blow off top, and more focus on those indicators. And the reason is because I'm noticing a lot of focus on the when, right? On is it do you still think it's a left translated cycle? Do you think it's going to be late this year or next year? And my primary hypothesis and how I'm open to alternative views as well. I think the key thing for you to be successful and the key thing for me to be successful is to be less concerned about that and to be more concerned on those indicators. Because if we believe the indicators are historically significant and they're going to point us in the right direction in terms of when things are becoming overheated, that's all we should be relying on. Once some of those start to trigger, then we can start to trigger our sell strategy, right? So I think moving forward, maybe on a weekly basis, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover those sell indicators on Bitcoin just to let you know where we're at. But in short, what they are telling us last time I looked is that we still have, this market still has a lot further up to go. When that'll happen, that is anyone's educated guess, but this market still has a lot higher to go, in my opinion. I think a lot of people are underestimating just how high this market can go. So right now, Ethereum is maintaining a critical level around 2,800. Really don't want to see us lose 2,800 because then you're talking about 2,500, 2,200. So want to maintain that $2,800 level. Nothing really to speak to here. The RSI lost this level. I wanted to see it retain around 55 to 58. Yeah, Ethereum, and it's not so much Ethereum. It's the Ethereum BTC, which has really been moving slower. And again, it's very important that you're keeping tabs on Ethereum, okay? Because Ethereum, again, history tells us that Ethereum is going to ignite the altcoin market once it starts moving, and it's going to give us a lot of conviction within the market that we can really get in a lot of those risk-on assets within crypto. And so we want to monitor Ethereum closely to understand when is it beginning to pick up momentum, because once it starts to really move, that is when the altcoin, we can anticipate the altcoin market picking up. Really paying attention to those key Bitcoin views I've spoken to. So goes Bitcoin, goes the rest of the market. The other one I would pay attention to would be Ethereum. And I would add Solana in there just because of the strength it's had. You might want to mix in Solana there, making sure you're keeping an eye on that too, because it certainly has been a leader within the altcoins. But right now, nothing new to report on Ethereum BTC relativity. This is just taking a hell of a lot longer than I thought to, not a hell of a lot longer, but a decent amount of time longer than I thought to really play out. We're still in this green zone, Now, if we start to lose the green zone, then you're talking about this area. And if we lose that area, there's a high degree. I'd put it in another area right here. Right around. Yeah, if we lost this zone right here, high probability we would start to come down here. So really want to see some strength start coming into Ethereum soon. So that's something you're going to want to keep an eye on. But I would say of any of the major charts I've looked at, that has really not worked out exactly the way. And again, some of this has to do with timing of the overall market. Guys, keep in mind, I'm the one who came out here and said my primary view was for Bitcoin to have a blow-off top in the first half of this year, right? May, June, July. Well, it's certainly not happening this month. It looks highly unlikely it's going to happen next month based on current market movements within May, unless if something astronomically positive happens within the charts in the next week or two. And July still is looking like a long shot to me. So, the more this kind of goes on, the more it sort of gives credence to the fact that this is going to start bleeding into third, fourth quarter of this year. So we'll have to remain patient. But nothing really new to report here. Again, guys, if there was something exciting to tell you and something monumental, I would. I think the key messages from today's live stream were less about what printed last week and more about what to pay attention to in the shorter term here. What to pay attention to in the shorter term, just to kind of assess the relative strength in the market. And again, if you want to simplify your life and you don't have a lot of time to pay attention to the markets, just pay attention to Bitcoin, okay? Once we start deviating significantly from 61.8 at this point, that's when I would start to get a little concerned with candle body closes here on the 12-hour. That we're going to continue deviating down or at least stagnating in this area. 61.8, which I've spoken to a lot, is now coinciding with the 200 simple moving average on the 12-hour. We're essentially once again getting pinched in here. We're at a decision point, in my opinion, okay? We're going to move up. We're going to fake up and come down. We're going to go down and continue down. We're going to fake down and go up, or we're just going to come down here and consolidate for a bit before we eventually move up. There's all sorts of different scenarios. I don't know what the hell I just did. There's all sorts of different scenarios that could play out here, guys. Cassius R3, man, I haven't seen you in a long time. Good to see you on the live stream, my friend. I tip my hat to you, sir. Thank you for stopping by on the live stream to say hi. I love making time for you guys. I don't know BB today. I don't know BB. Oof. Let's go. Fuck it. Let's fuck. Let's go. Let's go, fucker. I almost said let's go, fucker. Let's let's fucking go, Oof. I was waiting for you to join the live stream. If we have time tomorrow, you can ask me about it. We'll chart it. I don't know what the hell that is. Etta, yeah, same back to you. Don't know what the hell you just said, but same back to you, brother. Yeah, I do English, a little bit of Espanol. I've dated the Latina women down here in South Florida who have helped me out with the Spanish, thankfully. Hablo español un poquito. Estudié español en la escuela muchos años ago. Okay, so I don't speak any other languages. Yeah, memes. I don't really have anything else to say about memes. I've spoken to them in length. They should have been a part of your portfolio. If they're not, take the opportunity within this correction and consolidation to accumulate the ones I've spoken to. In my opinion, never financial advice. You know the ones I own. But memes are going to continue to run hard. And there will be a brand new meme that breaks up into that top 15, challenges Shiba Inu, challenges maybe even the top 10. I think it's going to be a whiff. I think it's going to be a whiff. I think it's going to be whiff. It could be Pepe. It could be one I haven't even spoken to. But definitely a part of my portfolio. All right, guys. I saw GME and it pissed me off because remember I wanted to get into that thing at $14. And I opened up that. So, quick story before we tune out. I went to open up that Interactive Brokers account, reopen my account, and it was taking forever. And the whole point, not the whole point, but I did want to purchase a decent amount of GameStop, right around $14. And they were. This was back in like September, October last year. And I just gave up on them. I haven't even checked to see if they've reopened my account. It was taking months. So I saw that thing was up north of $30, close to $40. Fuck that. Fuck that. All right, guys. I am going to... Thank you very much, Cassius. I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, guys, and if you can't join live, I get it. Not everyone's free to join. Everybody has work that they do. They have a thing called maybe family and a life. So if you can't join live... You can always catch these in published format, and you can hit the thumbs up like Cassius does. So, guys, I will be back here tomorrow for TA Q&A. I don't know what time I'm live streaming. That's why you got to hit the notifications, the bell icon for all notifications to know when I go live each and every single weekday, guys. With that being said, hey, enjoy your morning, afternoon, or evening wherever you're at. DT, I know he's in the morning. He's got his cup of Black Joe. He's probably off to work right now. It's a little later, so... All right, guys, take care. And until next time, let's all spread awareness and carry the education forward. I'll see you back here tomorrow.